bloody tower and dead queens. The International Tin Council. What a scandal. Thank God I wasn't in tin. The price of copper has been ruined by the frozen exchange rate, and the government will not let us mining companies exchange enough dollars at the better rate. They insist we help the country in this crisis. I do not want to help them. I want to be rich. So, I close my mines and I sell my copper on the London Metal Exchange. It is all because of the debt that will never be paid, because we have to borrow more and more to pay back the loan that came from oil when OPEC had too much money, and your Western banks wanted to lend it to us, because who else would buy, needing it so badly? Father got his hands on enough of it, but what happened? Massive inflation. Lucky he put the money somewhere safe. The Swiss mountains, so white from the air like our mountains, but the people were rich, with cattle and clocks and secrets. The American plains, yellow with wheat. The green English fields, where lords still live in grey stone, and always such safe banks, and good bonds and exciting gambles. So as soon as any dollars or pounds come, don't put them into our mines or our coffee. Little money in cocaine, now that's different. I don't want to make things difficult for the banks. I prefer to support them. Why send aid to my country? It's so many miles. But it's straight into my euro.
There's some enterprising guys around here. And here's an example. You know how, if you want to get a job in the United States, you got to get a urine sample and a business to show you're not on drugs. Well, there's a company now. For a $50 fee, that will provide you with a guaranteed, pure, donated by a churchgoer bottle of pee. They also plan to market it dehydrated, so you just have one. AIDS. Oh, AIDS is leaving appetizers perplexed. It's no longer too good to have a product associated with sex. But it's a great marketing opportunity. Like the guy who's opening up blood banks, where you pay to store your own blood in case of an accident. This will be guaranteed immunity. It's also a great time to buy the rubber. $10. You can buy oranges for 10 and sell for 11 in a soap or bazaar. It's the same basic human nature, both equally far. The so-called third world doesn't want charity or aid. All it needs is the chance to sit down in front of some green screens and trade pictures of starving idiots, patronizing, misleading. Because there's plenty of rich people in these countries. It's just the masses that's poor. And to sit the carnival in London and was quite enterprising. It was the day before Jake Todd was found dead. The deal was really coming to a head. Jake was in town and he was finding punters. Because anyone in town with too much money, Jake would know it. He'd say, Jake, who's around? What do they got? And he'd bring them in and show them.
Sonera copper has plenty of passion copper. Huge mountains and a garden twice the size of Wales. What's called a good copper? Given some kind of incentive.
I think you'll find more than what you let.
Zach, while we're alone, I didn't want to say something on the phone, but I had a call from the DTI tonight.
Ooh, have you done something not quite correct?
Zach, it's no joke. But they did say,
About what?
well, they did say, well, I can't say I don't know you, can I?
Oh, great!
Well, that doesn't tell them anything, knowing you.
Oh, no.
Don't let them pay too much attention to it, okay? If you like, I'll go.
It's going to be quite a smash, and not just for you.
I've been making quite a lot of cash. And when they take your passport, you feel surprisingly trapped. I didn't realize that I was so fond of travel.
You kind of lose thread, Jake. But when they pull you, the whole secret will wrap.
Leave me good to me, Zach. There's a bitch.
Then be greedy. And let's get this payload home without a hitch.
I can always hit the straight and narrow tomorrow. Jacinta! Mwah, mwah. This is Zach Zafran, the guy I've told you so much about. The guy who always knows the latest shout.
How are you enjoying your stay in London, Senora Condon?
I have been for a walk in a little Saint Park, where the pelicans eat the pigeons, but I didn't see it.
So you wiped out all your mind. That's the Enemy's master. You must feel like a natural disaster.
Hurricane Jacinta.
I suppose the miners want a revolution.
The miners all strike and do what they like. They want subsidized food. I say, get on your bike.
You're not giving them all your
Europe is more interesting. Mr. Corman is fascinating. Jake, I have brought a friend to this meeting.
I'm not sure.
You've heard of Nigel Ajibala?
No, I can't say I have.
Listen, don't cost us more.
I tell you, I caught a big cocoa importer.
Well, where does he operate?
He has connections in Ghana, Zambia, there, Gambia. But it's here that he likes to invest.
Suppose Corman could always be an actor.
Here he comes. Be cunning. My friend Jake Tubb and Mr. Zuckerman, a very considerable American.
You spend much time in Zambia, Zed?
Yes, but once immensely based over here. The IMF has cut off payments to zero.
The IMF is not a charity. It has to insist upon absolute austerity.
Yes, the IMF is not a charity, absolutely. The government must expect if there are food riots that paying the Western banks is a priority.
Senora Condon tells me you may be interested in buying Corman stock.
You can't compete without
Don't worry, Jake. I don't cut out on you. I give up all my interests except the cocaine. My country makes billions from cocaine, more than all our other exports. To keep bragging our friend, we have to pretend what the U.S. pretends, and we know it. Who likes a coke buzz? America does. They stop using it, we won't grow it.
So when can we see some action? Let's get going.
I need to get a little cash flowing. Maybe Mr. Coleman.
I'm curious to see Coleman. We've never met. He's a bright fellow, to be on your best behavior and upset with big, and to see on you, safe. He likes to increase. So pushing on. So, what's he going to answer?
When I buy or sell, I always do well. So don't worry about my pet. Whatever I get, I look after you. And Coleman, what do I expect? Don't be embarrassed, Jay. You're young and greedy. I like it.
I was at Eton myself once. A different ball game now.
Not really. Did you ever play the ball game?
The ball game? Do tell.
Hey, listen. It'll be great to see you while you're over here.
Maybe we could drink some English beer. I have a meeting at 8. It won't go on late. Maybe 9:30?
No, I don't think. I'm stuck with Corman. I can't get out for a drink. 11's fine.
I'm having supper with some terribly upper-class people who buy my plantation.
And after that?
Unfortunately, they live in Edinburgh.
Well, how are you getting there?
By helicopter.
I'm beginning to run out of inspiration.
Breakfast.
It will be great. But I gotta have breakfast with Corman till the deal goes through. I might get away for a minute or two.
That would be heaven.
Maybe 11.
11, I see my lawyer. At 12,
please.
I meet with some Japanese, just briefly, in the hotel foyer. So we meet for lunch.
I'm in Paris for lunch. But I'll be back by 4.
That's good.
No, but I gotta go straight to Corman.
What a bore.
Oh, maybe we could
Dinner tomorrow, much to my sorrow. I have with some Eurobond dealers.
cancel it?
Business.
Oh, shit.
Afterward.
Place. No. Hang on. I got a guest. Major investor. I gotta put out some feelers, and the only time he can meet me is after a show. I should be through by 1 a.m.
Zach, I could cry. There's a nightclub I buy, and I really must talk to them. So maybe next morning you give me a ring.
I'll see if I can get out of breakfast with Corman. So call you first thing.
Which day?
Tomorrow?
If you're interested in a book home, I'll let you have a call.
Well, if I'm down in Wiltshire, I'll certainly let you.
That went very well. They can't possibly tell you live in a run-down motel. I'll buy you a silk shirt and Jervis Street.
might be someone I'm going mental. So we get these people involved in supply, distribution, whatever, and they make a contribution.
Yeah, but their involvement should look kind of coincidental.
Look what? Say, don't even start talking silly, it'll look great. Show the buggers in.
Mr. Nurakonda and Mr. Ajibal.
And this must be the infamous Jake Todd. I've begun to think you're a bit like God. Maybe exactly don't exist. This must be burning. This is Jake Todd, our invisible learning.
How do you do, Mr. Todd? I'm extremely glad.
Okay, right, let's get the introductions. Let's go with the actions. What's the idea?
Well, Albion seems like an excellent investment. I am talking about a long-term commitment.
Ah, so you have the company's interests are energy.
I'll be glad to play my part.
And you said you were a carnivore. Maybe you want to sell me some caffeine.
Coffee is no joke. It makes me go broke. No. My interest is in distribution.
You know, I spent a good weekend once in the crackers. You don't by any chance play them around.
Mr. Coleman, I am here to do business. I wish to obtain an exclusive franchise.
Senoritas in Brazil.
Oh, cut it out, woman.
Mr. Coleman, you are interested in my country's spirit, and I am interested in your company's product. I wish to sell it in Peru, Brazil, Venezuela, Chile.
Oh, that could very probably be.
Mr. Zuckerman. I hope you haven't changed.
Well, the proposal has considerable merit.
You wouldn't be suggesting something silly. Can't you tell me anything good the present distributors did?
No. They've shown no interest at all in your bid.
Well, that's too bad. I think we made a business then, you'll say, do you all want to invest in South America?
Oh, South American companies will swap their debt for dollars if you invest in their country. And you get, say, $100 million of equity paid by the government in local currency. And you only have to put in 70. Plus, it gives you a great advantage over the locals.
Also, you can help to build my hospitals. I have one for sick and hungry men and women, and one for poor drug-addicted children. I visited and hold the hands of all the poor people.
Oh, well, this is all very admirable. Don't you think so, Everton? If you'll excuse us. Is this wise? Hospital. She's simply trying to use us. Every penny will go in her own pocket. Everything she looks at, I want to lock it.
I'm afraid I can't advise. Question of supply and distribution for Albion after you make the acquisition offer matters of internal management. So naturally, I haven't liked to listen.
Do you want the money,
really
do you
don't
not?
to comment.
Zach?
Well, swapping that I can handle later, but I agree the hospitals are scarce. So, listen, buy his cocoa, you run the franchise, get out the capital.
I have got serious money.
And Jake Todd recommends them.
That boy's got some interesting friends. Let's keep it sweet. I'll be delighted to make a contribution to your hospital once, Senora. The distribution franchise will go over. Of course, we can teach it on my inquiry of Albion.
I understand the arrangement. If you get it, I get it. I hope you get it.
And Mr. Ajibala, as Albion's sole supplier of cocoa.
It might be my duty to acquire an interest in the company.
I think a change in suppliers probably indicate, don't you, Zach? Right. You can both discuss the exact sum with my banker here, Mr. Zuckerman.
There is a small problem. I was hoping to buy £5 million worth of Albion stock, but I seem to have a hold up in cash liquidity.
That is a problem.
I suppose it's a matter of some urgency. If my involvement could be postponed 10 days...
No, that's too late. No.
Well, if I had an extra £2 million, now a £5 million purchase could be made by several small companies in various places, under various names not traceable to anyone alive.
Maybe if he buys 3
No, Zach, no, I want fine.
But I don't have 5 at my immediate disposal.
Mr. Ajibala, if you are happy about our proposal with cocoa, then I suppose I could make a down payment of $2 million now. We are going to need a hell of a lot of cocoa beans.
Well, that will nothing to be left to chance.
Excellent. So, Zach will write your check and send you a condom if you see my lawyer.
This deal is exciting. I get it in writing?
Oh, I can't be bothered with all these trivialities. So the personalities, we got the money. Everything will seem all right in stock.
I got the money.
For Albion?
2 million. Yes, but I want a return and Albion won't earn.
Put up your stakes. Get it doubled by Jake.
Double?
He's a good dealer. Let him play with it.
No problem. Give me a week.
I'll get the check from Zach.
2 million. What are you going to do with it?
I thought I might invest in the group.
Mary Lou, 4 million. Repeat 4. Arrives Thursday, the usual way.
But the CIA won't help it through unless we agree to give another.
But Mary Lou, already we paid.
I don't think we have an alternative.
I expect an increase in what I get from you.
No problem. My guys can easily meet a rise in street price because the street is Washington.
So how's the weather?
I haven't looked.
Good birthday, Jake. The franchise I get from Corman, well, paid. I said, of course, to some American. You will arrange it. No wonder I am so fond. I put it all in a delicious Eurobond. I think that is all. I make one more phone call and then I go and see Bill, the white knight. But you don't mention this to Zach.
This deal's not enough.
What is enough? Don't worry, Jake. You're making it. Just keep on taking and taking and taking.
I do.
I wish to order a tree. Maybe 20 feet tall, big walnut, banyan. Lemon, yes, that's sweet. And a card, yes, saying to Zach Zachman. With love from Hastington. Until we meet.
Now, Arlene,
great time skiing with my children. I've bred Tennessee walking horses, but I guess banking's in my blood. I miss the bids, I miss the late nights, I miss the gambles. So I've got to get up my own operation. I cannot forgive Dirtfield for the shambles he has made in Clymeric.
I guess the old wound's beginning to fester. It's about time you did something drastic. Go for it, Jack. Why don't you sabotage Dirtfield's deals? I got a lot of stocks coming and going here in arbitrage. Should have maybe to give him a few knocks.
He's got his fingers in a lot of pies.
In the UK, this foreign enterprise.
Are you saying I should step in as a white knight?
No, that's already happening all right. Wouldn't it be far wittier to make Herman himself a target?
Yeah. I'll buy a kid, I'll buy a steak in Coleman straight away. I'll get some real no-good company, run by a real punk, take it over with a load of junk. I really want to see Dirtfield in the hospital. Do you happen to have any Coleman stock available?
Yes, I kind of thought it might be saleable. How much do you want?
How much you got?
Let's talk to TK. TK, sell this person all before you die. My volume can get straight away. He'll give us a good price. And take the lot. Okay.
Times like these, be an old friend. We haven't seen each other in a while, and I blame myself, but never that in the end, it's only you that walks the last mile. It helps so much to have someone I'm fond of to sit, drink, and share my grief. There's no one else, I'm sure, whose word is bond. Talking things over gives me such relief.
Reverend, something...
Poor Jake! You knew him as a little lad. Remember that wooden soldier you made him?
Reverend, but there's something...
He wasn't all bad. Some upstart probably betrayed him. Poor Jake. Who could tell you?
Reverend, there's something I ought to tell you.
Daddy,
Oh, Miller.
Grimes, a colleague my dad was supposed to be.
Nice place you go. High ceiling. What you head through? Roof and a chandelier. How many bedrooms?
6, actually, now you've come to
That's
mention
alright.
it.
I was getting a station.
But it's not for sale.
Oh no. I was just saying that. You have a million.
What are you drinking?
Daddy, tell me the truth if you're sober enough to talk properly. About Jake.
I'll get a station and a door.
I think you're making a mistake.
Do I know more than you? Mary Baines, yes?
Sir?
Don't think you can smile and get away with it. Ill-gotten gains, right? Millions.
I'll get a roll with it.
And nobody told me.
I know nothing about.
Nothing!
Silla, there's no need to shout. Of course, my son might make your suggestion.
Where's his money?
Oh, I'm afraid I don't need veins.
Roll with it. Kill it.
What about me?
I protected you. It's bad enough to see a woman get work without it being part of an old boy's good work.
Shut off. I want my share.
Your share of what? Daddy's always given you everything you wanted, my little girl. It seems poor Jake was in much deeper than old Daddy knew. If it's really as you say, if we're dealing with a sixth mortal figure, then where the hell's he hidden it away?
Alright, come on now. Don't mess about. We haven't got all day. Who's the solicitor?
I'm afraid
Then who's the
In
accountant?
any case, I won't.
Who's this? Awful loud.
If you really don't know, you should just get back.
Ordering horrible young vandal. I don't need to know his name. Responsible for all the scandal. He's the one who won't blame.
You've been coining it for years.
My lovely city, sadly changed. Sick Gloria, glory passes. No wonder I'm deranged, surrounded by the criminal classes.
You've been coining it for years. All you ports in the city. It just don't look quite so pretty, does it? All the cunning little jobs when you see him done by yobs.
He's the one who to blame.
You'd do just the same what you bastards always done. New faces in your old square mile, making money with a smile. Just as quick, just as violent.
Oh, he's right. You killed my
Oh, your lady have been in clover, screwing everybody over. You just don't like to see us at it.
Sir, I forbid you to associate with this oil.
This is a waste of time. I don't see you woman again.
Sir, wait, now. You find James money.
Don't worry. I'll tell you. I'll protect you.
Sir.
Oh, and you want to sell a whole set of cake,
One of the jobs like that might change your life today. It's that oik who's led astray. It's times like these when you know.
Careful. It was me who phoned the DTI. Can't quite remember why. It didn't occur to me Jake would die.
That afternoon, things were going from bad to worse. Jake Todd was dead, and I just as soon he was me, they'd taken off in a hearse. I just discovered to top it all up that a Sinta Condor and Achibalo were no good at all.
My image is atrocious. Profiteering, declining rich industry, propaganda. Look, there's even a cartoon here where I'm living in Albion and I've got bangs. I want to be seen as Albion's Mr. Right, transport over none. Can you make it look as good as that did?
No, I'm afraid she's completely cornered the market in monthly blue-eyed baby's workers' friend. Someone from the city I can depend.
Well, I'll move out.
No, you're none of that.
Shit.
Cheer up, Corner. You're the opposite.
The more I pay you good money for.
Let Douglas be good and bored. Then you could be bad and glamorous. You'll have top billings by tonight. Everyone knows that villain in his handle.
Right, and clever.
2 dimensions, spiritual and physical. First, spiritual.
That's Ducky's area, she's a lay preacher.
Secular spiritual. Arts. For you to reach your wild donkeys is absolutely
But Ducky sponsors arts.
She sponsors provincial orchestras. You need national theatre for power. Opera for delegates. String quarters bearing your name for sensitivity and elegance. And a fringe show by language for the day. That should take care of the spiritual. Now, the physical. It's a pity you haven't seen it.
Oh, God, my one.
No. We'll work it out with that. I do recommend the sex scandal.
Sex scandal? No, that's
Well,
the
let's
last
see how
No, I don't. No, I'm not sure.
That's the point. Like scandal. There's ugly greeting and there's sexy greeting with dot. At the moment, you're ugly. Which is not all. If you stay ugly, God knows what your fate is. But sexy greeting is the late 80s. We can take photos straight. Listen.
No, I don't know them.
Not even kiss her. Mr. Cornyn, will you stop my Jackson?
Oh, I can't stop working while you're taking all these photos. Zach, where's he got to? Why isn't he back? You again?
I've been wondering news for you about Albert.
What?
You tell me more about Jay.
What news? What news? What about her?
How much did you pay him?
Wait, look, Cornyn.
How much did you pay him?
$200 Stourbridge your brain.
Could you be more affectionate? You took her hand. What did you do with it?
Well, no. What about the Signora?
Please, be more affectionate. Keep it moving. Smile. Smile.
Kill the bitch! I knew there was something funny.
Who else gave you money?
No, what else is there? Is that all? What are the news?
How'd you buy?
What? What?
More about Jane, but I won't say a word.
I can name 6 companies to deal with. 4 merchant banks. And 2 MPs, and that's only what I've earned. Your brother was widely respected in the city. Now what had you father had some pity.
Oh, I'll tell you about it for a small fee. 3 companies, 2 banks, and 1 MP. That's beautiful. That's exactly what we'd like to see. Look as if you're having a lot of fun. How'd you buy that one for the 2 million you gave him?
What? Not on my stock! Now there's nothing in a saving. Hang on a minute. Look, you can't use these. This is the dead whiskey in today's papers.
And that's a scandal which I'm not
No, that's the scandal where there is a connection. But I don't really know why you want to be connected with a fictitious scandal.
But we can't let the whole story escape us. These other scandals are high-profile thriller. Terrific photos.
No, please. Please, no.
You'll make a statement to the press. Say. Right. He paid you all agree.
I've never met Mr. Corman before. From what I do see, he's an awesome...
A great Lord Dunstan.
He's physically repellent. Unbelievable.
Okay. I get it. What duplicity? Why don't you people appreciate publicity? You wasted a lot of film. Where's Melissa?
Do you want a job? Most people who work for me are mentally defective.
Maybe later. When I finish being a detective.
So, what the hell's going on all over that?
Hold it, I've got Archibald right here.
Archibald, what have you done with my ticket? You better stop talking now.
Mr. Corman, I am glad to have this opportunity to explain how by judicious speculation I plan to increase the sum you gave me to buy even more shares in support of your acquisition. I can say with certainty...
Mr. Archibald, I'm being tricked. Already that £2 million clear understanding that
Mr. Corman, Mr. Corman!
What?
Sentence, Mr.
Who's this now? Who's the receptionist?
I identify myself to your reception as Miss Reddick from the Department of Trade and Industry. People don't usually...
Oh, Mrs. Rebbit, delighted to meet you. Absolute pleasure.
I assured Miss Grevick, delighted.
Oh, delighted, absolutely delighted.
In any way we could. We know the DTI is of course.
Oh, yes, of course.
Was that about £2 million?
I thought it may interest you because it sounds unusual.
Yes,
What do you
what was
plan?
that? Well, Mr. Corman is paying Primary, the bank I work
It sounds
for, £2 million
It's
for advisory services.
I believe who's addressing this gentleman.
Oh,
I agree.
Mr. Archibald, that's a bar of cocoa beans.
So the sum in question wants to do with the cocoa trade.
Yes!
No.
That is no, but there were matters to do with cocoa which were being discussed.
The £2 million to pay the 2 clients.
Yeah, that side of the business, it's all mine.
Mr. Ajibala, you can confirm, I trust, that you never received the sum of £2 million.
I only wish I had.
Question seems to have caused some amusement, but I have to ensure no inducement, financial or otherwise, is offered by Mr. Corman to support his price.
£2 would be very nice, but no, Mrs. Grevitt, I can assure you that an account of the cocoa trade would only bore you.
And you will, Mr. Coleman, but
Oh, absolutely, excellent.
it sounds as if you're asking him to return £2 million. I must have misunderstood. You weren't asking?
No, why should I? I never gave him a £2 million check.
So naturally, he can't ask for it back. Good day, Mr. Coleman. I have a meeting to attend.
No, wait! Nothing.
Thank you, Fortune. About my brother Jake.
I never met him.
It seems very easy to forget. You have it money.
This thing gets crazier and crazier. Now, if you excuse me, I have a meeting to attend about the cocoa stocks in Malaysia.
Does the name Jake Todd ring a bell?
No. Oh yeah. Oh, in the papers. Oh yeah. Most unfortunate. I'm a stupid keyboards now.
Not someone with whom you personally acquainted?
Oh, no, he seems to have been tainted by acquisitions of what kind of...
I don't wish to be importunate, but I was wondering if it would be possible for me to cast an eye on any people in Ireland.
This one.
Your involvement, Miss Edgerton, naturally goes a long way to ensure us that the transactions don't look legality.
There could, of course, be some aspects of which I wasn't aware, because my participation wasn't required.
Edgerton, you're fired! Your report papers 10 feet high and keep her busy. And after the deal's completed, so the DTIs have refused to be defeated. I don't care if I go to jail, I will win, whatever the cost. They may say I'm a bastard, but they will never say I lost.
Carmen, there's one more thing. Gleason called. She said she's seen Lear at the National and wondered if you could have a couple of words in the interval. I don't know why you're being asked out by a cabinet minister. I sure hope it's nothing sinister. But when the government asks you on a date, you don't stand them up.
Right.
Whether we'll get away with this is anybody's guess. My guess is no. You think scented conduct?
She knew Jake, didn't she?
God, well, no.
As well as denied it.
He was the key to all their deals. Of course they were going to hide it.
I want to meet them.
No, Scylla, we have to keep this quiet.
I want to meet all his contacts because someone's going to know where his money is.
We'll be in a nominee company, God knows where. Not traceable to anybody except maybe Mary Lou Baines.
I'm going to see Mary Baines.
Oh, no,
She's
that's not
the
what
one
I
who
meant.
paid him. Yes. She'll know where his money is because she'll know how she paid him. Do you think she has it with me? Maybe I could collect.
Scylla.
I'll go to New York tonight.
Scylla, if you're going to do something stupid, I'll call Mary Lou and warn her. She'll refuse.
I would just Miss Revis with details I suspect. Maybe I could have a word with
Don't be
her.
absurd.
Yes. I could have a picture in the papers. With Corman alleging all types of
Oh,
cables.
Scylla, you wouldn't. Oh, God.
So call Mary Lou Baines and tell her I'm on my way to Heathrow and she's to see me.
Well, at least you'll be out of England.
I'll send you a postcard.
And I thought you were some kind of English rose, Scylla.
Go stick the thorns up your nose, bozo.
Somewhere along the line, I really blew it.
acquire a multinational.
Mr. Merrison, this is hardly rational. My company is really extremely small. You realize our only product is those little balls of gum you buy in the machines out on the street. If Coleman took me over and understand it, but I'm really not cut out for a corporate bandit. I've hardly got out under my last creditor, and now you're trying to turn me into some sort of predator.
The smaller you are, the greater the triumph for me. I could raise $4 billion. John.
Mr. Merrison, I'm afraid I'm in a fun. I don't know what to say. What are you doing?
I'm using you, Mrs. Soap, to humiliate somebody I have good reason to hate.
I'm not sure.
I would like to ruin the story, Bengals, okay? It would seem kind of dumb.
No. Don't take my gun. I'll think about it. I've thought about it. Great.
We're
We're number one! We're number one! We're number one!
The plague of custom and permit the curiosity of nations to deprive me, for that I am some 12 or 14 moonshines lag of a brother. Why, bastard.
Enjoying the show?
I'm watching it.
It's excellent, of course, they're not bossing it. After a hard day's work, my eyes keep closing. Keep jerking away when they shout.
Yes, please, sir. It's hard to follow the lines. We keep jumping on. So what's this meeting all about?
Gonorrhea, Reagan, Ophelia. Good of you to come. It appears we have two conflicting interests. On one hand, so natural the investor wants to make all the profit that he can. And business commitment to pensions does put onus on the short-term plan. However, you must remember industry. You need long-term research and development in order to create more employment. It's hard to reconcile, but we must try.
I totally agree with CBR. Long-term issues mustn't be neglected. The responsibility of management, however, is,
We're going to reinforce the government. Recognize, alas, nothing's perfect. That's something you learn in politics. We want to cut the top rate of tax and profit-related pay to the incentive, but we do think things have moved too far in that quick profit short-term direction. We won't want to interfere in a free market, but we are, of course, approaching an election.
Yes, and I hope to give more than moral support to the party. I've always been a staunch conservative.
My dear fellow, nobody doubts your loyalty. That's why I have so little hesitation in asking this small service to our nation. Drop your bid, give up, leave it alone.
No, out of the question. Sorry, out of the question.
I absolutely appreciate your
No,
problem.
leave me alone to do my job, will you?
I'm sorry, Mr. Coleman, but I must forbid it. A takeover like this in this present climate makes you, the city, and us look greedy. Help us to seem to care about the needy. Help us to counteract the effect of tenants.
What if I say no?
I would like to dwell on that unsavory story of that young boy's suicide.
Are you threatening me?
I do admire your bravery. No, but my colleague at the UTI thinks I will call on you today.
Leave it out, Gleason. Don't make me laugh. DTI, I'm going to call your bluff. It might take us to hurt your image. Another scandal will do far more damage.
Mr. Corman, I'll be brutally frank. A scandal will not be welcomed by the bank, nor will it be tolerated by the Tories. And if you businessmen do something shitty, some of it gets wiped off on the city, and the government's smelling from nasty stories.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. This evening's performance of King Lear will continue in 5 minutes.
Us, businessmen. The banks are crack.
So if you persist and make a nasty mess, not another bank will handle your business.
Oh, leave it out, Gleason. Don't make me laugh.
Don't try my patience, Corbin. I want to miss the second half. Drop the bid, we stop the DTR.
You stop this breaking anyway. Are you telling me you can't control the press?
Yes, but we'd break you. Do you want to try? You stop the bid, we stop the DTR.
Pick on me. Everyone's just the same. I'm just good at playing a rough game.
Exactly, and the game must be protected. You can go on playing after we're elected. 5 more glorious years of free enterprise and your services to industry will be recognised.
Right. Good. At least an island. So they can cool. So Bill.
Somebody pass a briefcase of notes at the station under a clock? Or did you make out a horror stock? Did he have a company? And what was its name? I've been cunning in connections with another class, and I'm as tough as a dog.
So, don't let's quarrel. My personal assistant's leaving. Would you like a job?
Why now?
Well, sure, TK. You said you wanted out, and Syl wants in, so don't let's hang about.
One thing I've learned from working with Mary Lou, do others before they can do you!
So Syl never came back. She sent me a postcard and the Statue of Liberty saying, bye-bye, Zach. She never did find out who killed her brother, but I'm certain it wasn't Corman or Cynthia or Mary Lou or any of us. I mean, who didn't want Jack to talk to the DDI? Who wanted him out of the way? The British government. It was another scandal just before the election would have been too much fuss. So I reckon it was MI5 and the CIA. Well, the kid could have shot himself. I mean, he wasn't stable. I mean, there's bound to be endless scandal in this city, but really it's incidental. Be a nuisance, though, because if it gives the wrong impression, people lose confidence in us, there could be a big recession. I mean, sure, it's a dangerous system, and sure, it could crash at any minute. And sometimes I wake up in bed and think, is Armageddon AIDS, or a nuclear war, or a crash, and how will I end up dead? And that's just before breakfast. But what really matters is the massive sums of money being passed around the world. There haven't been a million days since Christ died. So try to think a billion. That's 100 million. And have you ever even tried to think a trillion? Think $1 trillion a day. That's the gross national product of the USA. There's some people say the American eagle looks more like a vulture. I say don't, based on your own culture. Naturally, there's a whole lot of greed, and that's no problem, because money buys freedom. So the Tories kept the scandal to a minimum. Greville Todd was arrested and put in prison to show the government was serious about cleaning up the city. Nobody shed any tears. The Conservatives romped home with a landslide victory for 5 more glorious years. Which was handy, though not essential, because it would have taken far more than labor to stop us. I've been having a great time raising $16 billion to build a satellite. And I reckon I can wrap it up tonight.
Grimes has insider dealing for Scylla and Mary Lou. He also bought Greville's house.
James goes with Peter and Cynthia one midnight in Peru.
Jacinta marries Zach next week, and they honeymoon in Shanghai. Good business to be done in China now.
Nigel Ajibala is doing something in Dubai.
Lord Coleman is helping organise the tunnel under the channel. He also is the chairman of the National Theatre.
Etherington runs the city's new disciplinary panel. Duckett had a breakdown and was given ECT.
It'll take over Albion, and he's now being inactive.
TK ended up in jail because of some funny tricks.
Mary Lou Baines ran for president in 1996.
Harrison's been ambassador to London, Paris, Rome.
Dirkfeld had a heart attack one quiet Sunday at home.
So acquired common enterprise and a dangerous reputation. Dulcie Stark does her PR, so is loved by the whole nation.
Terry went to Chicago and did a lot of coke.
Vince didn't before it was a joke.
Kathy's got a Teddy Scott bar some white shares.
Joanne became a trader, and now she's moved upstairs.
Molly moved to Eurobonds.
Brian bought a deer bar.
And Dave went to Australia but got eaten by a shark.